A dazzling 27-yard zigzagging run. And the Chiefs have taken a lead 11 seconds before halftime. Wow. Mahomes is under center again from the 20. He'll go to an E. The benches will empty. The clock will tick down. This one is over, and the Chiefs are AFC champions. Down to 2, down to 1. The confetti falls, and the fireworks will shoot off the rim of Arrowhead Stadium. For the first time in 50 years, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
First and goal, the ball spotted just inside the 2. Mahomes tosses it inside, and it is a touchdown. Travis Kelce. You talk about a shovel pass. Mahomes is so adept, and he put it right on the money in a crowd to Kelce for the score. That was impressive. Rush coming. Mahomes floats it. Wide open, Kelce. Touchdown, Kansas City. An incredible combination. Mahomes to Kelce, and the Chiefs are running away with it. Mahomes takes a knee, and that is it. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. Kansas City is trying to run it back, and they get it done in the AFC Championship game as they knock off the Bills 38-24. The Chiefs are headed back to the big one. The final score, the Chiefs 38, the Bills 24. We are tied at 20. 45-yard attempt. Looking for the lead. Butker, snap, placement, Butker's kick. He's got it! Kansas City in front with 3 seconds remaining. Caught at the 19-yard line. Taylor is gang tackled, and it is over. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl for the 3rd time in 4 years. The Chiefs win the AFC Championship and get revenge against the Bengals. 23-20, the final at Arrowhead.
Are you ready for some football?
Playoffs? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Ravens. 2nd and 2. Jackson out of the gun. Runs the pocket to his right. Throws toward the end zone. Leaping grab. Isaiah Likely. Over the top of Derek Stingley. Touchdown. Ravens. 15 yards from Lamar Jackson. It's 23-10 Baltimore. Off the play fake. Jackson rolls to his left. Ball to his left. Inside the 10. Out of the 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Lamar Jackson. An 8-yard touchdown run. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. And the Ravens are on top 30-10. Stroud out of the gun, hands the ball off to Ogunbowale, who runs to his right over the block of his right guard, gets to the 47-yard line, and that should do it. For the first time in more than 50 years, the city of Baltimore is going to host the AFC Championship. Next week, they'll take on either the Chiefs or the Bills. Chiefs.
Running back block. Mahomes winds up. Long pass. Far side backpedaling. Spinning touchdown catch at the goal line. Kelce. He could not have been more wide open. A touchdown reception by the spinning all-pro tight end of 21 yards. And the Chiefs have taken their first lead tonight. 3 tight ends. Under center Mahomes. The snap, the spin. Backpedals and throws. Caught by Kelce. Gets a block. Runs to the far sideline. Stiff arms his way to the 2. Goes to the pylon. And it is... Did he get in? Let's see.
They gave it to him.
Yes, they gave him the touchdown. They gave him the touchdown on a delayed call. Kelce with his 2nd touchdown reception tonight. And the Chiefs have taken the lead on another lead change, 19-17, early in the 3rd. There's the shotgun snap, handoff Pacheco, knifing his way, touchdown, he gets in, over the left guard, he just had a burst, and it gives Kansas City 6. Touchdown run, Isaiah Pacheco. That's the 5th lead change, and the Chiefs lead it 26-24. Goal to tie. The wind at his back. The snap is good. The ball put down. The kick is up and no good. Wide right. Wide right. The Bills kicker missed a field goal. Wide right. Jubilation for the Chiefs sideline.
모든 문들을 닫았어요.
네.
그렇기 때문에 조시 앨런 선수가 오른쪽으로 나오면서 시간을 벌어봤지만 오픈된 리시버를 찾을 수 없었습니다.
44야드 거리입니다. 타일러 베스. 오른쪽으로 벗어났어요.
Mahomes will be under center. He'll be at his own 42 with the second two. He gets the snap, spins, hands Pacheco over the right guard on the hash, digs and falls through the first down at the 45 of Kansas City. The Chiefs have gotten a first down and Buffalo's going to take a timeout. A first down run by the hard-charging Pacheco. There's the snap. He goes to a knee. It's fourth down, and that is it. The bench is empty. The Chiefs have gone on the road and won in frigid Orchard Park, New York. In a game that had 5 lead changes. In one of the great quarterback matchups we have seen with Mahomes against Allen. The clock now at 3, at 2, at 1, and 0's on the clock, and it's over. The Chiefs are going to a 6th consecutive AFC championship. They'll take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens next week.
I don't like competing against him at all. But yeah, I mean, he's a great quarterback. Definitely a Hall of Famer. It's a no-brainer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. But it's just, I believe it's just two greats, up-and-coming greats, just going toe-to-toe. You know, like a heavyweight fight, heavyweight matchup. That's just what I see.
I mean, not this year. My stats and my numbers, I don't know if I was in that conversation, but he led his team. I think MVP is a lot of things. The stats, is leading your team, winning football games, and he did that all this year. I think for us, it's just the challenge of going up against the best is what motivates you. I mean, they got the best defense. They got the MVP on offense. They have a great special teams unit. And they were the best football team throughout the entire season. So it motivates you in order to win the Super Bowl, you got to beat the best teams. And this is the best team that we've played so far this year, and it'll be a great challenge for us.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John and Nate Bukaty with Jake Gutierrez. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you spending your Football Friday with us, your Red Friday, as the Chiefs get ready to take on the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday in the AFC Championship game. And, of course, the Chiefs versus Ravens will be live on Sports Radio 810 WHB on Sunday. Our pregame coverage will begin at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Then Chiefs postgame will be immediately following the game. We have the NFC Championship game on our sister station, ESPN Kansas City, and immediately following postgame on 810. The AFC and NFC Championship games on Sports Radio 810 are brought to you by Hollywood Casino, Missouri Farm Bureau, Greenlight Dispensary, and Adams Toyota. And Nate Bukaty will be at the P&L District. You can come down and watch the game on the big screen. Yes. Nate will be the MC because that's what he wants.
Yeah, baby.
That's what he demands.
Get out with the people.
Yeah. You can come on down and watch the Chiefs take on the Bills. Grab a cold Miller Lite, your favorite stadium eats, and cheer on the Chiefs as hopefully they get back to the Super Bowl. They've got great food and drink specials at McFadden's Pizza Bar, Guys Taco Dive, and no other pub. Admission is free. You can also reserve your table now at powerandlightdistrict.com. So there you go. There it is. And so yesterday we spent some time out at Arrowhead Stadium talking to some different players in the locker room. You had a lot of people, a lot of coaches at the podium yesterday. Also, Patrick Mahomes was at the podium as well. So we'll have some of that sound for you to get you ready for Sunday. Very, very exciting game today on the show. We'll have Stan Weber in studio for an hour and a half to talk about that. Also, we'll have a very quick Border Patrol Fast Break with Gabe DeArmond, Jay Heydrich, and Greg Gurley. One question each for the Border Patrol Fast Break. And then Tim Grunhard will be on the phone in the 9 o'clock hour to preview the Chiefs and the Ravens. In between the fast break, and Tim Grunhard will play a couple of locker room interviews. We talked to Leo Chenal, we talked to Joshua Williams, we talked to Charles Omenihu, and like I mentioned, several Chiefs players at the podium as well. And so we'll hear from Spags. It's always good to hear from Steve Spagnuolo. He's probably my favorite coach to hear from when the coaches speak each week. And so he was up there. Also, Matt Nagy, Rashee Rice, Nick Bolton, all that good stuff. Dave Tobe. Today, Andy Reid will be speaking along with Travis Kelce and L'Jarius Sneed and George Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie, Mike Dana, and Trey Smith. A little later start today. The players will be at the podium at 1 o'clock following Andy Reid. So later on in the afternoon, about an hour and a half later than they've been going the last couple of days. So there you have it as we get ready for the big game coming up on Sunday. I'm glad it's at 2 o'clock, so I don't have to wait around all day for the game to start. And that'll give me plenty of time to decompress because it's really hard when it's like last week, it was really hard to go to sleep after that game, after watching that game, the excitement of the Chiefs and Bills. So I'm glad the Chiefs are going at 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock on CBS for the Chiefs and the Ravens, then 5:30 on Fox for the Lions and the 49ers. Right now, as I'm looking at ESPN's latest odds, Baltimore is favored by 4, and the San Francisco 49ers are favored by 7.5. So I think I'm gonna take the Lions and the points. Are you doing points or money line, Jake?
I'll probably do a small money line, and then I'll probably go a little heavier on the points.
What are you doing with the Chiefs?
Well, I got them at 3.5 already, and then I'm probably looking at. And I threw a small wager on an MVS anytime touchdown.
You're really touting that.
I'm not. Don't do it. I'm not
really in on that one.
No, and nor should you be. But I don't.
Hey, man, if it hits,
it's plus $5. Plus
what
750.
Is it?
Plus 750.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, like, $5 to win 45 or something like that. I'll take it. I like Pat Mahomes over. I think it's 260.
Over 260.
I think so. I think I like Lamar over his running number. I think that's 62 yards. There's just things I have my eye on.
You haven't closed out all your bets yet.
No, the only bet I have on the table right now is Chiefs plus 3.5, and I might, now that they're at 4, cash out on the other bet and throw it into the. Lose $1 to pay for half a point. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Lions for sure, 7.5. I'm glad I've waited. I almost jumped on it yesterday at 7. That hook makes a big difference.
Can you give me the broadcast crews that we have on Sports Radio 810 WHB? I'm looking at the TV. Can you have access to that?
Yeah, give me maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 minutes. That's what you get.
Start the clock.
Starting now.
On TV, of course, for the AFC Championship game on CBS, it'll be Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, Evan Washburn, and Jay Feely, who really doesn't serve a purpose. Like, I was wondering, like, if you have a kicker there as an analyst, like, why wouldn't you have done it like a quick hit with him before Tyler Bass was attempting that game-winning field goal in those conditions? Yeah. Right? All right, let's throw it down to Jay. Jay, the game's on the line here with this kick. What do you see? What do you see from the wind? What are you looking at the conditions? What do you expect here? Something, right? If you have a kicker?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what he does.
I think he was the one that pointed out that the Chiefs only had 10 guys on the field on the fake punt.
Yep.
I think that's about the one time I remember him doing something, but that's about it.
I'd rather hear him talk about kicking.
Yeah.
I think that would be helpful. I wish that the Chiefs had the Fox announced crew of Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olsen, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi. That's who will be calling the game for the between the Lions and the 49ers. So, more Tony. People are getting sick of Tony Romo.
Are you?
I don't care. I don't really care who calls the game, to be honest with you. As long as it's not Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, I'm pretty good with whatever.
So the Chiefs Westwood One broadcast crew is my guy,
Oh.
my main man, Ian Eagle.
Oh, man.
And he'll be alongside Jason McCourty and Devin McCourty.
Okay.
So I assume that means Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner and Laura Okerman will be on the NFC
That's the best.
I got to chat with Ian Eagle the night of the Broncos game, Jake, because I was covering it for Steven, and we rode the elevator up together, and, of course, I knew.
Did you name drop?
I name dropped. I said, hey, Ian, I wouldn't expect you to remember me, but I do a morning show in town, work with Jake Gutierrez, and his eyes lit up right away. Hey, how's Jake doing?
I
love that guy.
I love that guy.
That's what he said about you. Love that guy. He's awesome.
We spent many of the seasons on the road. I think I did 6 seasons with Ian.
You can listen to those broadcast crews on Sports Radio 810 WHB if that's what you want.
Right here, the home of the NFL.
Heard some good calls from Ian on that montage you opened the show with.
He's called the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl before.
How about that?
So, wouldn't hurt to hear it again. 2 of the 3 times.
I don't mind Romo.
I don't either.
No.
I don't either. I don't know what. Maybe he just got so much love so early that people got. I don't know.
I mean, Greg Olsen's better, but I like Romo.
Yeah, I've got no issues with him at all.
He's better than most. They could do a lot worse on this call.
Yeah, I don't. Besides Greg Olsen, I don't know who I really love.
I'm obviously a huge fan of the Kevin Harlan Trent Green tandem. I think they're great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got
CBS. Yeah, CBS doesn't have a whole lot better. I mean, Ian does a game with Charles Davis, and I don't think he adds a whole lot. He's fine.
I wish it was Kevin Harlan, but what are you gonna do? It doesn't matter if it. You know what? If the Chiefs win, then Romo will be awesome.
Yep.
If the Chiefs lose, then Romo will suck. So. That's pretty much how I look at it.
I think agreed.
This guy's terrible.
Cosign.
Yeah. Hey, let's play one of the interviews we took part in the locker room. How about linebacker Leo Chenal? He's obviously an important part of this defense, one of the young guns in the linebacking core that the Chiefs invested in to rebuild that group. And now, and hopefully they'll have their full complement of linebackers out there because they need them. It's one of the best groups in the league between Nick Bolton, Willie Gay Jr., Drew Tranquil, and Leo Chenal. So here's Leo in the locker room yesterday.
All right, so what's it like? 2 running quarterbacks, different running quarterbacks, right? Going from Allen to Jackson here.
Yeah, I always remember his highlight video in the high school clip. He just juked somebody out, and but he's a dangerous quarterback all the way around. He's really developed. It's like I said, really potent the way he's playing. He starts to scramble, and you think, oh, everybody's got to rally to the ball, but he'll chuck it to a guy that's wide open, and I feel like everybody's kind of adjusted to that around him. So again, that's what makes him dangerous.
Yeah, it seems like Allen's a guy who'll run right through you. He's a guy that can make it look silly, run around you.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's like the most athletic person I've ever seen. Especially as a quarterback. It's unreal what he's doing.
What's the give and take on downs where you have a spy, where you're keeping a guy on the quarterback, and downs where you're not? What goes into factoring whether you do that or not?
It's always tough. because you lose either, someone in coverage or an extra aggressive pass rusher. Guys that are more like, standing still like a tower, you get an aggressive pass rusher, close the pocket a lot faster. But, with him, he can go anywhere. You got to kind of balance it out.
Yep. How much does the mood change around here for a championship week? Is there a different level of focus?
I think when we got into the playoffs and, all season long we had the focus, but like when we got in the playoffs, it's like, okay, it's time to go. We got to do our thing right now. There's definitely a sense of urgency. Guys are locked in for sure.
What's happening to this defense in the second half, where you guys are seemingly getting stronger every game?
In the second half, I think it's a credit to our coaches. We come in at halftime, and Coach Spags, and along with the assistant coaches who are giving that information, from the top, from the side, they're really good at game planning in the second half. And hey, this is how they're trying to attack us. They're going to repeat it. If they had success with it, they're going to repeat it. So I think they do a really good job at that.
It's not just Lamar Jackson. They got the #1 overall rush offense in the league. The guy I remember when you got brought in was like, this guy likes to hit people, likes to stop the run. Do you enjoy the challenge of taking on the best rushing attack in the NFL?
Oh, for sure. That's such a huge part of the game. As a defense, we have that pride. We want to shut down the run game, and kind of every defensive coach says it. It's like you got to start with the run game because if they're going to gash you there, like you don't have a chance. They'll just keep pounding, and that's kind of a mental thing. The run game's a mental thing for sure because if they're bursting out like 6, 8, 12-yard plays, like that kind of wears on you. So we definitely take pride in that, and they got a great group, and we're looking forward to it.
You had to deal with the snow and the ice now, but this might be a rain game out in Baltimore. How does that affect things? And just talk about experience playing in the rain.
You just gotta be mindful of in warm-ups how you're feeling. And if you're slipping around, just put some 7 studs on. If you feel good, you don't. Try to limit thinking about that as little as possible. If it's not affecting you, whatever. But try to be really smart. Great approach to it.
Is there a pride that you guys take because so much attention is put on that Baltimore defense? Do you guys kind of take that as we're a good defense too?
Yeah, for sure. Like they're a great defense. They've been making plays every single game all season long. It's a long season, and they've shut people down all season. We don't want to compare ourselves to anybody. They're a great unit. We believe we're a great unit, and it'll be fun to see how it goes.
Awesome. Thanks for that, appreciate it.
How did you enjoy that experience playing on the road for the first time in the postseason? You got one under your belt now, so that gets you ready for this week. But what was that like?
The Bills fans are definitely a great fan base in terms of they're bringing emotion, they're bringing they're loud, they're energetic, man. They're bringing it, and that was kind of a cool environment just to be a part of. Kind of like a gladiator sense, man. Got everybody against you. It was just us kind of standing our ground, and it was cool kind of hear the silence, instead of like the cheering when we make good plays. It's definitely a different feel, but it was pretty fun.
Did you get hit with a snowball?
I didn't know personally. I was kind of keeping like a side eye to it, but that was good.
Hey man, good luck.
Hey, thank you.
So that was linebacker Leo Chenal. Jake taking phone calls and talking to people for some reason. Stop calling Jake. We're in the middle of a show. Who called you?
Stan.
Oh yeah. What did he say?
He forgot his key fob, so.
Oh, okay.
Just need to be let in during the break.
You look concerned.
Well, when I hear his voice, and
I thought we were off the air or something.
I usually see him. No, we're live on the radio.
One more thing that I wanted to play. I got a kick out of listening to this. He's retired now, so I can go back to liking him. Because I liked him, and then he, had this rivalry with the Chiefs and Mahomes. And so I went away from that, but I still got mad respect for Tom Brady as a GOAT. The second one with Jim Gray. And so he does a show on Sirius XM, Let's Go with Jim Gray. And the topic, and they've talked about Mahomes, every week, and it's interesting to hear Tom Brady talk about Patrick Mahomes. I think they recorded this on Monday and they released it yesterday. I don't know. I found this interesting. I like to hear Tom Brady talk about Patrick Mahomes because he was the only guy right now that definitively is better than Patrick Mahomes as far as his resume and what he's done and who's Patrick Mahomes chasing. Right now it's still Joe Montana because he's got 4. is ahead of him, and but I just think that Tom Brady's the guy that, when it's all said and done, that's who Mahomes is chasing as far as legacy. So I'd like to hear Tom Brady talk about Patrick Mahomes, and usually he praises him. He's pretty complimentary. This is Jim Gray and Tom Brady talking about how you beat Patrick Mahomes.
But how does anybody currently playing beat Patrick Mahomes? This guy, if it's not for you or Joe Burrow one time, he's 13-3 in the playoffs.
He's an incredible competitor, and I think it's on display in the biggest moments. So I got a lot of questions for the game. What do you think? It's at Buffalo, and I said, I think I like Patrick. He doesn't faze him. He doesn't care that it's in Buffalo. He wants to go out and play who's ever the best to see how he matches up. And he always seems to play his best in the big moments. And even the Super Bowl where we got him when we were in Tampa, he was running all over. He ran for 450 yards, horizontally across the field in order to get passes off, and there was kind of an onslaught of pressure. But he still, in those moments, was giving his team a chance to win from his athletic ability, his tenacity, his competitiveness. He's got so many of the intangibles. So beyond his ability to throw the ball, run it when he does. He had a great run yesterday. I think he's got these intangibles that everyone believes. And I said it in the third quarter yesterday. As soon as KC took the lead, it felt like Buffalo's got to go, oh, God, this is not the game we wanted. We didn't want to be behind 3 in the third quarter. And they took the lead, and then obviously the game turned out the way it did. But he's a fierce competitor. They got a great team. They're really well coached. It's been a great organization. 6 AFC championships, actually, in the last 6 years. That's pretty impressive.
I like to hear Tom Brady talk about Patrick Mahomes.
Well, and that's a guy who's going to be great as an analyst next year.
Sure he is. But there's something he said that I want to extract from that I think is relevant for Sunday. And he's right. There, whatever moment it was, there was a moment when Buffalo, whether it was the team, the fans, whatever, felt, oh, God. The offense, this Chiefs offense isn't struggling like it was the first time we played them. Mahomes looks different. Their offense is we can't stop their, oh God. Oh, no. Right?
Yeah.
MVS is catching football. Oh, no. Oh, God. Kelsey looks like Kelsey. Oh, God. It's important to give Baltimore that oh, God moment because they've been rolling and they've been front runners. And then, hey, look, that's a compliment. They've been kicking ass and taking names.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care what anyone says. They didn't want Patrick Mahomes there. They wanted Buffalo. Okay? Patrick Mahomes is the man. Patrick Mahomes is the best. And if let's just say it's even in the third quarter, right? And Mahomes throws a touchdown pass or something, and the Chiefs take the lead halfway through the third quarter. There's going to be people in Baltimore, and they might be on the sideline. Oh God, oh no. Oh, we're not going to beat him by 2 touchdowns. Oh God, he's on today. Oh no, our defense can't stop him. Oh God, give Baltimore that oh God moment and see how they react. And that's when we talk about the pressure that'll be on Lamar too. It's one thing if you're up by 10 points or whatever, 12 points, 14 points. But what if he realizes in the middle of the third quarter that he's got to match him? He's in a shootout. They're down 4. Do you understand the amount of pressure that will be heaped upon him? Patrick Mahomes has been in the Super Bowl down 10 points in the fourth quarter. There ain't no pressure that's going to get to him against a great defense like San Francisco. Been there, done that. I want that pressure to be on Baltimore. And if you know what, and if they react the right way and they pull it off, more power to them. But it's easier said than done. I want that pressure on them. I want them to have that oh God moment. The way we used to have facing certain quarterbacks. Oh God. I don't want to see this guy have the ball. Oh, God, our defense can't stop him. I want them to say, oh, God, it's Mahomes. It's playoff Mahomes.
You want him to be like John Denver in that 1977 movie with George Burns, Oh, God.
What does that reference mean?
That's a movie.
I
remember that movie?
Yeah, sure.
Every time you said, oh, God, I just kept thinking about that movie. I'm with you.
Okay.
I thought you'd be excited.
Sure.
I knew a movie from the 70s.
Never a big John Denver fan, though.
Sorry, my bad.
I like George Burns.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Book 2. No. I didn't like that movie. Hated that movie, in fact. I don't know why. Did you like that movie?
I remember my mom thought it was funny.
Yeah.
That's all I really remember about it.
Yeah. Just didn't resonate with me. I get it, though. But I want Baltimore to have that moment. And Patrick Mahomes can deliver that moment. And then you find out. They're champions. Get them in some adversity.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. Because people that think the Chiefs are going to go lay down and get blown out or get run out of the stadium or lose by 2 touchdowns, Jake's saying no. No.
Hell no.
Ooh.
Hell no. Not
That's
happening.
right.
Bishop Bullwinkle over there.
I like the way you talk.
Not happening. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a battle.
Let's let Stan Weber in the building and see what Stan Weber has to say. It's a football Friday. It's a Freaky Friday. It's a Red Friday. It's all those things wrapped into one big show right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to The Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810.
Yeah, it's different. First off, we've played a lot of home games, a lot of games at Arrowhead, which we love. But getting a new challenge, new opportunity to go out there and see what we can do. That, as well as when you're on the road. I mean, obviously Chiefs Kingdom travels, but everybody's against you, and you got to go out there and come together as a team and find a way to win. And it's just a whole new opportunity for you to go out there and see what you're really about.
Welcome back to the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John and Nate Bukaty with Jake Gutierrez, now joined by Stan Weber in studio. Stan, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
Stan, before we get into the football, I'd like to ask you kind of a loaded question.
Okay.
What the hell was going on in Ames, Iowa?
There's a lot going on.
Right. I mean, we were watching that game. All hell was breaking loose. It seemed like during the game, behind the bench, and then, Jerome Tang obviously getting the technical, and then the long conversation in the handshake line afterwards where it looked like he was telling Otzelberger he was airing him out, but then
But he did not initiate that conversation. It's very important that you understand what happened there.
Yeah, tell us.
They had the issues where the officials were involved, and then those two guys, like Norm Stewart and Jack Hartman, used to, yell at each other or whatever. It's not, they may not have been yelling at each other, but they both were talking. The coaches were talking to each other at one point in the game, and T.J. Otzelberger was getting upset or whatever. And then, so when the game ended, they're going to go shake hands. Normally, they just walk by real quick and shake hands unless they really are good buddies. And even if they're good buddies, a lot of times they'll just shake hands because there's 35 people behind them that they cross over, and so they could call each other later or whatever. But this time, TJ stopped and said, "Hey, I said Wyatt saw him say, 'Hey, I'm not sure what you're upset about' or something." So he just stopped it and said, "Hey, let's don't leave on bad terms right now. Let's talk." So that's how it started. It wasn't Jerome getting after him at all. It was Iowa State's coach saying, "Hey, before you leave here, there must be a misunderstanding." And so they talked. And so that was not heated at all. And you could tell by the postgame, weren't both guys really complimentary of the other and saying, "Hey, this is between us. We'll work it out." And, that's a great program over there, hard to play. Everything was very cordial. But that was TJ saying, "Hey," so if anyone thinks that Jerome was mad and then he continued on and wouldn't let the game end and go home without getting upset again, that's not the case at all. It was a very cordial conversation. It was started by Otzelberger, not by Jerome Tang.
Well, what happened? Do you know what Jerome Tang was?
There's something over by the bench,
right,
that they were upset about, and they were telling the officials, "Hey, something's over here by the bench," and I know what it is, but I'm not going to comment because it's up to Jerome Tang to talk about what he wants to talk about. So this is classic. I mean, he may never talk about it the rest of his life, and there's plenty of things Bill Snyder had happen, and I still don't talk about it. 30 years later, just it's their choice to say what they want to talk about. But it's not a big thing for the public to know anyway. Really, I mean, it's just not that big a deal on that front. So he may never talk about it again. It's on to the next game. But someone said, hey, someone might have been yelling the N-word or something. That's big time stuff, right?
Right.
That it's not in that area at all.
Were they throwing stuff? Did you see? Or?
No, I'm just not going to comment. I mean, the bench, K-State's bench, and Jerome were unhappy. They were pointing over my head, going like that, and I don't know I couldn't tell what was going on over there during the game. I had no idea what was going on, and they were adamant and talking to the officials. And I go, there must be a fan who's just being too mean, and I don't know what that meant, but I guessed, man, it must be a fan. Because nowadays, you don't only have your bench, you have a whole line of people behind there, if that makes sense, because the staffs are getting bigger.
Because they showed that video, those people were wild. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, no, it was old school. Like I said, remember Norm Stewart and those guys would get after it in the old Big 8 days? And
Johnny Orr.
Because it's interesting because now Kansas has to go up there on Saturday, and I can't imagine it's going to be any better. I mean, we've seen things that have happened in Ames when Kansas goes to play Iowa State, right, Nate? I mean,
Yeah.
What was his name?
Weathermax?
Weathermax.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that was?
I can't remember if it was Weather Max or Weather Wax, but he was
Mel
wanted a piece of Bill Self after the game.
Throw some hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him up.
Hey.
Well,
Put up your dude.
I'll tell you, Iowa State game management, something that I noticed that's different is when you watch TV, the benches are on the opposite side of the television, okay? You can see the benches at all times, okay? When you go to halftime, if you think about it, as you're watching your TV, Iowa State, the home team's on your right, visitor on your left. The home team just immediately goes and runs through a tunnel, okay? But the visiting team crosses over the court at a 45-degree angle to go to the other tunnel. That tunnel has a big cover over it now. So it sticks out, I don't know, 30 feet or whatever. So that last 30 feet when you're running in the tunnel, the fans kind of aren't over you, like if they were to, throw a beer or something or snowball at Patrick. You saw Patrick Mahomes go in. Just think if they would have had an extension to the tunnel that went out to the goalpost. Does that make sense? Like those last 5 steps, he would have been underneath something. They have that at Iowa State now. So I hadn't seen that before. That usually doesn't happen. Like you go, the door's the door, run over there. Now, right as you edge off the court, they're under a tunnel to walk back in. So I don't know what they do to protect the opponents, but that's one of the things that happened. But, yeah, it was a very long game. I looked down, I go, it's 20 after 10, and there's still 5 minutes left in the game.
A long game.
And the tension was high, the energy was high, and when you're there, sometimes you miss out on a lot of things that are going on because I don't have 7 cameras. I have one angle. I got a good angle, but I can't see behind me or what all television's showing. And, so to me, it just didn't seem that extraordinary compared to what I see all the time. It was just a good game, coaches battling. The thing that I don't understand when it gets right down to it is when the technical's called on Jerome Tang, why at that point with just over 2 minutes left, it's ball game. Why? He didn't get in the face of official or go jumping up and down and screaming.
It was a terrible call. It was a terrible call.
It was a terrible call.
It was.
But his animation, his reaction was no different than it had been all game. There was a lot of reaction and intensity, but the officials were at the other end of the court, and the one who called the technical was on the baseline, and the one who called the foul that Jerome was yelling at or was upset with was 30 feet away. So there was no why call a technical at that point and say game over? I just didn't understand that.
We'll take a break. Back after this on WHB.
There's definitely been some schematic changes, but at the end of the day, it's the Ravens. I mean, they're going to play physical, they're going to play fast, they're going to play hard, and they have a lot of pride in defense. I mean, obviously they have the offense, and they've put up a lot of numbers over these last few years. But if you think about the Ravens' it's defense, and they're going to fly around and try to dictate tempo, that's just who they are. And so it's our job is to go out there and play our game, play fast, play physical as well, and match their tempo. And so it's going to be a great challenge. I'm excited for it. I mean, I know it's going to be tough, it's going to be hard, but at the same time, this is what you want at this point in the playoffs.
That's right, Patrick Mahomes. One other note on basketball. I'm so locked in on football mode. It's hard for me to. It's just hard for me to pay attention to anything more than the playoffs. Staying on football crazy, but that's pretty good tomorrow. 11 a.m. K-State at Houston, and 12:30 Kansas at Iowa State. All 4 teams are 4-2 in the conference.
Oh boy,
who's in first place in the Big 12? If you asked 100 people in Kansas City, how many of them would guess who's in first place?
OT Tech.
Exactly.
They got to go to Oklahoma.
They're the only team with 1 loss. Everyone else has 2 or more.
That's a good game too. That's at 1:00. Just right, bam, bam, bam. 3 games featuring teams atop the Big 12. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we talk about how in the offseason, it's unbelievable how the NFL headlines just keep coming and coming, and it's things that people are interested in and need to be talked about. And we are seeing that happen right now, covering up basketball. You think about the Big 12 and how good they are at basketball. Kansas, how important basketball is. K-State went to the Elite 8 last year, and here they are in second place at 4-2. All these things, and all anyone wants to talk about is Belichick going to go to this team, or what's going to happen? Where's Harbaugh going to go? Even when you're not talking about the big games, the semifinals, the championship games, which are giant, and then here in Kansas City, obviously you want to talk about the Chiefs, but even when you take a deep breath and don't talk about the Chiefs, immediately you start talking about football. And then it could be college football, because Harbaugh leaves and you go, well, who's going to take the Michigan job, and who's going to transfer here? And it has been an amazing run into 2024 where basketball just gets put over to the side over and over again. We are already 6 games into Big 12 conference play.
You mentioned Belichick. It's been it was interesting last couple of weeks. All right, who's Atlanta going to end up with, Belichick or Mike Vrabel? And then the answer was Raheem Morris.
Do you know how well I know Raheem
Former
Morris?
K-State defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Yes, I know him very well. I'm glad he's getting a second chance. He's a really good defensive coordinator, and he's a really good guy. And so with the modern style of coaching, he may have a chance. And being around the Rams the way he was, I think he has a good appreciation. I like the fact that he's been with the Atlanta Falcons before. I think being a new coach and going into a new organization can be hard. It's easy for Andy Reid to jump from Philadelphia to Kansas City, and no matter what the Chiefs are made of, he could come in and determine how he wants to work with ownership, put his imprint on the program. That's easy. He's an experienced coach. It'll be easy for Belichick to transfer in if he wants to. It's going to be easy for Harbaugh. But if you're a new coach and you're going to some place, Raheem Morris has been to Atlanta enough. He knows what's going on there. So I like it. I like him. I don't know if he's going to be successful or not. It's hard to win in the NFL. It is really hard to win. And everyone should start with a what?
Quarterback?
9-8 record. No, I'm just saying every season. Why?
Gotcha.
Well, you're right. Sorry about that. You were correct. But
I see what you're saying. Different
with the parity. Why don't you think your team's 8-9 or 9-8?
Right.
No matter who you are.
Yeah, that's where the inertia and gravity wants to push everybody. Right. Somewhere around 500.
Everyone said Houston was awful this year. That they should tank and get more draft choices next year. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And look how close they were. They should have led at halftime against the Ravens. They should have made that field goal and been up by 3. And you want to write them off. So almost everybody, not the Chiefs. Certain programs are above that record, but everyone else should start at 8-9 or 9-8, and it's hard to get away from there. And so Raheem Morris or whoever the coach is, it's not going to be easy, but he's in a division that you can win. There's no more open division than the NFC South. They just take turns winning the division, and who's the dominant team?
9-8 was the best record in that division this year.
You know what the best record was last year? 8-9. So Tom Brady gave a little juice to Tampa, like, hey, maybe they're the better team. They were 8-9 when they won the division last year with Brady. Then he retired. So it's a good division to go to. But, man, the AFC West is changing from a division that had no good coaches in it other than Andy Reid to now you're starting to build up some juice with 2 other legitimate coaches in the division. So the Chiefs have the advantage. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have Andy Reid. But it has changed. The AFC West has become much more competitive.
What do you think of Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers?
For the Chargers, it's very, very good. I've called out Staley from like the 4th week that he was a head coach that this guy isn't going to get it done. He played the analytics game too stupidly. He's a defensive coordinator type of guy, and the defense wasn't good. What was the better part of the Chargers when you played him? Herbert? Get scared of him a little bit. Eckler? Those wide receivers, don't they kind of – but then they have a bunch of money, and they've invested on the defense, but that defense never performs. You get ready for Chiefs games going, oh, boy, I don't know if the Chiefs can beat that defense. Have you ever said that the last 3 years?
No.
So his expertise didn't play out at all.
And they had star players on that defense when they were healthy anyway.
He just didn't command respect, and they're so undisciplined, and they make such losing plays. They remind me of the Dallas Cowboys. You know, Bill Belichick has not been signed yet. Maybe Jerry Jones will reconsider.
Are you hoping for that?
Oh, yeah.
Could Belichick win at the highest level with Prescott as his quarterback?
Yes.
Is this just because Belichick wants the power, wants it too much? Like Atlanta, they're saying that's why they didn't hire him, because he wanted.
This is very interesting. You ask this because I talk to people a lot about their decisions in their business lives and careers. You know, about what choices they make. And I always am the advocate of saying, think about your whole life, 365 days a year, all 24 hours, not just what society says about the prestige of a position. And in that kind of light, you want to work with people you want to work with that are good people and make your day better. And hopefully you can be successful in your business career and be happy at the same time. Well, if I had that argument, I'd say do not hire Bill Belichick, and that's a problem. There's a lot of people who say, my job is going to be miserable. No one wants this guy in the room.
Because you're working for him, not with him.
Right. But in this, I'm talking about 1,000 jobs. In the NFL, you got to win. So maybe you got to suck it up. Jerry Jones or ownership or GMs or everybody in the building is going to be miserable with Bill Belichick's there. But you know what they might be doing? Holding up their Super Bowl rings, showing all their family. And if they have other people that are nice, they aren't going to be putting up Super Bowl rings. Because you know who's going to win the Super Bowls? The guys like Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin. The greatest coaches with the greatest quarterbacks win Super Bowls. So I want Dallas or whomever gets Bill Belichick, they're going to win, man. But it's going to be miserable. And I think everyone's going, I can't pull the trigger. Everybody in my organization, if you're the owner and everyone's looking at you, go, I hate you if you pick this guy. He will make everybody miserable. He won't even smile. They win Super Bowls and he won't smile. He comes in after the day after the Super Bowl and goes, how do we get better next year, guys? And they're like, really, Coach? Really? Yeah, how do we get better? That just wears on you, man.
We'll take a break. Back after this on WHB.